Namaskar everyone. My name is Sanjeev Deshmukh. I live here in Greensboro, North Carolina, US. Been here for since 1994, I guess. My wife and I, both we are graduates of Catering College, Dadar, and we have been working in the industry for that many years since 1980. The motto in life, which I have kind of adopted, was one of the things from Mr. J.W. Marriott, who said, change is the only constant that we have. So we have to keep adapting and adapting to the situation and make it work.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 10th episode of my show, Bounce Back with Nima Mankar. Today, we have a very interesting person with us, Mr. Sanjeev Deshmukh. His life is a true example of man proposes and God disposes. He believes in adapting to situations and working smart and hard. After completing his extensive degree course of hotel management from Mumbai, he dreamt of a promising career. His dream was at the verge of coming true. As he trained out, he almost secured a progressive job with a prestigious group of hotels. But misfortune struck. He was struck by a drunk driver. He had to go in for multiple surgeries on his broken bones. He faced a number of setbacks thereafter. This rendered him totally incapable of taking up a lucrative career of a chef in a good hotel. However, he did not give up. Let's hear him speak about his major setbacks and how he bounced back to success. He works as a director of assets for a group of hotels in Greensboro, North Carolina. Hello and a big welcome to you, Sanjeev. It's such a pleasure and a privilege to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Nima.
So please tell us briefly about your childhood, family, and education.
So I grew up in a very privileged background, son of I would say, landowner. I cannot call my father a farmer, but our families owned some lands in Maharashtra and also in Madhya Pradesh and cotton mills. My schooling was done at Scindia School, as which you all know is a very prestigious school even now. So I was able to go there, spend some time, and that was one of the first big changes that came in my life. I grew up first 8-10 years of my life were on a farm in Maharashtra, rural area, and it was just having fun, doing nothing much. We didn't even go much to school before going off to Scindia. And I was there at the age of 10, not knowing Hindi or English, and my Marathi was like more of a Vidarbhite slang than anything else. And I had to quickly adapt to the situation and start learn and put to best use using Hindi and English as language. That was one of the first things. Looking back now, how quickly we as human beings in general can adapt to our environment and thrive. Of course, not everybody can do that. Some people have a tougher time. I remember in school, I must have not cried for my parents or anybody else just after the first night. It was just, you're in there and you have to succeed. Schooling was great fun. We played all kinds of sports. I never excelled at any. I never, was not duh or bad at anything. It was just, I could play with the best, never excel. I never had the winning attitude. I believe I still now don't have it. I'm laid back, but whatever I do as in terms of work, I do it to the best of my ability. Starting from there, from Scindia, I went to because of back then we were all our careers were chosen by our elders. So my father especially wanted me to get into med school, And excuse me, I was not very keen. I was not up to it. I think I was of the very keen mind that I'm just not going to do only BSc in science and then do what. I certainly knew one thing I didn't want to go back to was the farming, because I found it highly dependent on rain and everything else, and too much work. So one day, while reading the Times of India, while I was in Indore doing my second year of BSc, I saw this one ad in the paper. The other catering college looking for teaching staff, faculty members. They were looking for some department which I had not even heard of. I had no idea what hotel management was. I wrote to them a letter that I mailed or posted, as we call it in India. I mailed it or posted it, just asking for more details of the school and how can I get their application and syllabus. Oh, so lo and behold, even in those good days, within 5 or 7 days, I got a letter back from the catering college saying, send us whatever by money order, 45 rupees or 30 rupees. And what really surprised me in my mental capacity that time was, is this school so efficient that they actually open their letters and reply back within a week? I mean, imagine how Indian Post was during those days. It must have taken 3 days to reach Bombay from Indore by mail, and then they send it back, and I got it within the week. So it's really whoever was handling the mail at the college must have been really efficient at what they were doing. Or maybe they were looking for people. I don't know. And eventually I filled in the application. Of course, I had to get my uncle's signature because I was living with them to apply. And he was like, "You're applying for this? Does your father know?" I said, "No, I have not spoken to him, but he should be fine." Eventually, though, all hell broke loose over Sanjeev's life and the Deshmukh family that I'm applying for catering college, and I'll become a bawarchi, and that's all I can do. But I had made up my mind. I kind of left Indore and went to Bombay and started catering college. It was a 3-year course. By the way, I don't even have an undergraduate degree because I never completed my BSc. And at that point in time, hotel management and catering technology was a diploma. And I still have not converted that diploma into a degree, because I also feel degrees and those kind of papers don't make you or break you. It's what you apply towards in life that really helps you. And here in the US, since we have come here, it was challenging because our hotel diploma was not recognized for immigration purposes or for work permits, but it was considered equivalent to because of my great experience in the industry. Having said that, my wife and I, we met at hotel school, and we have known each other since 1977, or the catering college. That's when we met. I would say we started dating somewhere around 31st of December that year, 1977. So we have been together since then. We form a team, we attack everything together, we fight. But that's part of the life because we see things differently. We could never work together, I think. As I had cleared first year, second year, and then during the third year, prelim exams were going on because the college was very strict, the catering college or Institute of Hotel Management. Miss Thangame Philip, of whom you might have heard, she was a very great disciplinarian, and she would not allow people who were not ready to take the final board exams to take them. So we used to have very strict prelims. And it was during the prelims that, unfortunately, this accident happened where I was hospitalized for maybe a month and a half with multiple surgeries. And I eventually took a discharge from the hospital against medical advice because the board exams were starting, and my prelims, though I had done only one half of the prelims, or nearly three-fourths of it, I was able to qualify to take the finals. And I think because I was involved in some student activity during the second year and first part of the third year, Ms. Thangam Philip didn't want me to be back at school repeating the year. So she agreed for me to let me appear for the finals, and in fact, helped me get situated. I had been shortlisted by the Oberois and HCI, Hotel Corporation of India Centaur, to be their chef trainee, because that's what I wanted to be in the chef training. But unfortunately, Oberoi's came back saying, if you cannot join by this date, we'll have to interview you again next year and see if there are any openings then. But we knew from the doctor that I'm going to lose about 6 to 7 months with the recovery. My bones had been so badly broken, but anyway, life goes on.
You said that you didn't complete your graduation and you got an entry into this catering college directly. But I think if anyone has this name Sanjeev, then they don't need any other degree or any other qualification. They are supposed to be chefs.
No, it's not like that.
Just when you were embarking on the road to success, after you were just about to give the exam and complete your catering course, you met with a disastrous accident. Could you please share your experience of it and the impact it actually had on your life?
Right. We all, in some way or the other, face tragic situations in life. Some of them are your own making, most of them are not. And one has to take it in one stride. So I was, lucky enough to have a good set of friends who shared their notes, because between the prelims and the final board exam, there was a good gap of 6 to 8 weeks. So things were still being taught in school. Most of my friends picked up each subject, and they would make notes for me with the carbon paper and bring it to the hospital. And then I would study. I never stopped doing that. And because of that, I had told the hospital staff to give me very minimal painkillers, because the painkillers also tend to put you to sleep. And my threshold of pain has always been very high. This accident even made it much higher. I was studying all the time, and when Miss Thangam Philip came to see me in the hospital, I requested her if I can, take the exam in spite of missing part of the prelims, and she said yes, because the other marks during the school year were good. I was allowed to do that, so I had to keep studying again. And that's what I did. The interesting part was during the exams itself, when I took a discharge from the hospital, mind you, against medical advice, and went and stayed at this college hostel. Miss Phillip allowed me to stay in the college hostel. I was not a hostelite, and three of my friends in the dorm used to because remember, this is now you're talking of April, May in Bombay. Used to bathe me every day. It was so humbling. And I remember those people who did it. And you need these kind of people in your life, because you alone cannot do it. Imagine if Miss Phillip had not allowed me to take the final exam. It was within her rights. It was all done because of maybe, though I was a naughty person, a naughty student, I was never a bad one. And then once I started working so our exams were sometime done in May, end of May. I could not work because I was on, by that time I was in a wheelchair. So I went back to the farm, and my father was, of course, very upset with whatever was going on, but it was an accident. The only person at fault was the guy who drank the beer and was driving his car. No, not me. But Dad was very depressed. By the time I started work, I didn't even start work. I had to come back to Bombay to take the medicals of HCI, Hotel Corporation of India Centaur. When I came back, and I was in the process of doing my medicals with the blood works test, and they used to have all kinds of things. You have to see a doctor. My father had his third and final heart attack and passed on. And this was right, I think, in the middle of the something was going on, that the trains, there was a partial strike, or I don't know. My eldest brother who used to live in Thana at that time, and I, both of us could not get to our village in time for the funeral. I remember that, because not enough trains, or something was going on. Anyway, I started my job with Centaur. So my batchmates or my colleagues who had already started work sometime in June of 1980. So I had already lost 6 months because of this accident in life, in the bigger picture. Once I started working in the kitchens, uh, the osteomyelitis came back. And the doctors that I was going to, the orthopedic doctors, could not understand. They kept on giving me antibiotics, advising to physically clean the wound where it was oozing pus and infection from the bone. But nobody could come to a conclusion as to why. And somebody in there, and I don't even remember who, advised me, maybe because you're working in humid conditions in the kitchen, that's what is causing this. And I took that like a drowning person grabs the last straw, or the last straw that broke the camel's back, whichever phrase you want to use. And I grabbed that and I went to the Centaur people and said, I want to transfer to either at front desk or restaurant side. And my training manager, she kind of told me, we have already done you a favor by letting you join 6 months late. And now you've done a 3.5, 4 months training, you want to switch over. It's just not possible. We cannot do it. So in a half and a puff, without thinking, I quit. I went to Pune for an interview, or Hyderabad, all this, and suddenly I got an opening. There was an opening at Taj, Bombay, and they were hiring people. And I applied for it, and I got in. And after that, my life just changed. Working for Taj that time, those days meant we were working as trainees 6 days a week, about 15, 16 hours a day. And after you finished working, you were so tired. There was nothing. All the food, the meals were, eaten at the Taj, not in fancy restaurant, but in our cafeteria, but still it was food. So we were saving all that money. And that's where one of my older friends who is not with the hotel industry, he's no more in the world either. He kind of pushed me, prodded me into start investing, because all the salary that was paying was just going into the bank. And that's where I started, along with my wife Snehal. We started investing in Mumbai stock exchange or stock market. Very little money, whatever was there to spare. Eventually, over the years, it grew so much that when we got married, it paid for our wedding expense. And it just went on. Working with a great employer, that's what I believe. And Indian Hotels Company or Taj was a great employer. It was a great thing for me. They referred me, the doctors there, to Dr. Dholakia. And he's the one who finally cured my osteomyelitis by doing another surgery in 1984. So now maybe it's 4 years after the accident. All these years I've had that pain and the pus oozing and pain going on and still working. But he scooped out a whole lot of bone and let the bone grow back, in the hope that the infection doesn't come back again. And it, so far in so many years, it has not. So it's sheer good luck, plus being in the right place at the right time and working very hard.
Also, share a few humorous episodes of your life.
I appeared for a lot of interviews. I went to Lonavala for interview. I went to Baroda for interviews. Couldn't find a job. Eventually, somebody at the catering college canteen, where I used to go every day because there were a lot of jobs were posted there from the industry. I found a job at a hotel which was offering about, and this is the funny part, which was offering about 4 times the salary that my batchmates were getting at the Taj or the Oberoi's, or what I was making at Centaur. And I was really surprised. And the owner who interviewed me, he told me, we'll pay you in cash too. So I was like, wow, no taxes. I'll get all this money. And it was 2,000 rupees per month during those days. I know 2,000 rupees doesn't mean anything today. And I took up this job at a hotel. We'll not disclose the name of the hotel because it's not a nice place. And I didn't know all that before the interview. It turns out it was a place which was used by people for immoral activities. And this guy was only willing to pay that much because he had invested a lot of money in opening a new restaurant at the hotel, thinking that the local families and people who were living in the surrounding areas would visit that restaurant and he'll make money. And he was not coming because the local area knew what kind of hotel that was. And I was aghast when I saw actually what was going on. Within a week or so, I learned what was going on. I didn't know what to do. I kind of bounced the ideas off with my friends and my other colleagues who were working in other hotels, and we kind of came to conclusion. The day after a month, I was paid my 2,000 rupees. I walked off from the job that day when I finished the shift or whatever I was doing, and I have never gone back to that hotel. I don't feel anything bad about it. I didn't call. That was the only job that I have left that way.
You have always had a very optimistic type of attitude towards life. Do you think like this has really helped you to bounce back to success?
I mean, life is full of pleasant surprises. One just has to stop, as literally people say, stop to smell the roses. There are a lot of negative things that go on. Not that you have to be ignorant of them. You have to acknowledge that and just go beyond it, saying that's not for me. There are so many peers in my own life who are so successful at what they have done. So one just needs to learn from them and apply it to our own situation. And I was exchanging some texts with my boss here, the owner of of my hotel franchise company that I work for, and he said something is so much enjoyable to work with all of you in the office. So if you don't enjoy your work, you might as well not do it because it's of no fun. It's no use coming to work on Monday morning, uh, dreading the week. Oh Lord, it's Monday. On Monday mornings, I kind of advise everybody to come singing into the office. Whatever you want to sing. I mean, anybody who hears me singing will either throw up or lose their hearing power because I'm a very bad singer. However, that's one of the happinesses that one has. Or if like my wife and I, especially her, she loves to cook. Now, once you have cooked it, somebody has to eat it. And that's why I am very short and fat, because I've never grown taller, but we eat a lot. Just a month ago, we were visiting Jack Daniel's distillery here in Tennessee, and we had a great time. And you have to keep trying. I tried at one time when I was in 10th grade. I tried with my father's help, of course, to go to Narayangaon near Pune. That time had pioneered a poultry farm, and they had a poultry school. So I nearly went there, but whether it would have worked out for me or not, who knows? But I had that thought.
Now, is there just something you would like to tell the listeners in case they face some depressing situation and want to come back to normalcy?
Sure. One thing always is top priority in life is change is constant. So the bad time will change too. Just go through with it. I must say, be a good reader. Read books. I'm just reading a book written by a Dr. Frankel. He is a psychiatric doctor of Jewish origin, and he survived the concentration camps in Hitler's Nazi era. And he talks about the survival rate of the people who were taking the things in their stride were much higher than people who were depressed already. That's his anecdotal observation. And unlike me, he's very well educated. He's a doctor of psychology, so I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. But these are the kind of things one has to like if I want to lose weight, I have to follow a person or put a person or take an advice of a person who is thin and exercises, not a person who is, living off jalebis and sweet milk. So you have to choose your advisors or your friends properly. So that's all I would have to say. I mean, staying positive is a catchphrase, but it's a really a frame of mind, and it depends on you to stay positive. We have all had failures. We're all going to have further failures too, in personal life or financial or job. But it's how one reacts to that rather than the incident itself.
As time is really moving fast, we have to stop here. Anyway, thank you very much for a very enlightening talk.
Thank you for even considering, because I at times don't think I have done anything great. I've just done natural because one has to succeed. There is no other option.
Thank you, Elvis and Manan, for all the technical support.